short sale. So that means that we don't need the table. They're not in a position to bring money to the table. So they got to make a decision to say,
All right, get started. Excuse me, folks. Excuse me, folks, if we can have your attention, please. We'd like to get started. It's 7:46, and we're already pretty late into the evening. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're missing Ann, but as the night is wearing on, we'll get started, and she can chime in when she arrives. Calling the meeting to order. Our first point of business is citizen comments, which we have in two parts. The first beginning with Black History Month. I understand we have Rick Marsh in the audience. I'd like Rob Beatty, if you would, please to introduce him and give a little background.
Awesome. Well, I could talk about Rick for probably about an hour or so. I think I heard maybe Ann coming in, so I'll give her a chance to see if I maybe her at the door. Yeah, so last year we honored Ray Boo Boy Knox, who was a Negro League player from the 50s, who is a constituent. So that's Connection Ridgeville. Just looking for a way to honor our history. Also honor Black History Month and celebrate African American, celebrate their wonderful history as well. So Ray Boo Boy Knox, I will say, was given the key to the city on Monday. So if you didn't know that, so Ridgeville was ahead in recognizing him as a constituent, and also just a great story there. So I just wanted to report that to the community as well as to the Ridgeville board and the greater Ridgeville community. Rick Marsh, let's deal with him a little bit. I want to put him on Front Street. What a great guy. I met him probably in 1997, 98. We happened to love basketball. I didn't know he was an ex-pro. I met him at the Shoot the Bull tournament, and he kicked my butt. They were in the Final Four. They went on to, I think, compete for the championship. But really, ex-players, NBA players, Division I players, we would all get together and basically a hoop. They used to call it the Hoop War on the Lake Shore. But we would plan a tournament down at on the Lake Shore against each other, and you would see some of the greatest ex-players play, and one of those was Rick Marsh. So that's the first place I saw him. So I thought that was worth mentioning. And then in 2002, I saw him again as I was working for Fleetwood. Ann's here already.
Hi. Sorry.
Talking about Rick Marsh, I just started. Telling where we met. The second place we met in Evanston, I didn't know he lived in Evanston. We met at Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center, where I was a program manager under Miss Mamie Smith, and I see her, one of her good friends here, Judith Treadway, who also lives in the district. Nice to see Mr. Jerome Summers, one of our former District 65 board members, and all around Evanston guy. Now Rick is also here with his wife Holly, who I'll talk about in a second. She's like, talk about it. Yeah, I'm going to say something good about you as well. And we're also happy to have our normal constituents who always come, Debbie, and I'm sorry for your names here, Pat Schumacher, yes, and your name is Jean. And so happy to have you here today as well. So Rick, let me just get in. He grew up in New York. Queens, 5 boroughs. Now, if you know anything about New York, pretty vast. And I'm going to take about 10 minutes here, so I just want everybody to know that. Is that okay if I take 10 minutes to do this? Thank you. So Rick grew up in Queens, played basketball, found out he was a pretty good basketball player at a young age, but Rick was an All-American in high school. I mean, All-American. I mean, this guy had over 200 scholarships, offers to play basketball anywhere across the country he wanted. Why he picked University of Nebraska, I don't know. So far away from home, but that's what he chose. Chose to go to Nebraska for 2 years and then got a little homesick, came back home and played for Manhattan, where he is now in the Hall of Fame at Manhattan. So he had a storied career there. and then went on to play professionally in the National Basketball Association, which you know LeBron James and Steph Curry. What does he have in common with Steph Curry? He actually played for the Golden State Warriors. So he's a pretty happy guy right now that Golden State has so much fame. But I'm not really here to talk about all the basketball. But I will tell you one more thing. This guy is one of the 100 best players to come out of New York. I mean, I read a New York Times article, and somebody had a New York paper out, I forget where I was, and I'm reading about who's who in New York basketball. Rick Mars is on that list, one of our constituents. So that's basketball. Did I do it well, Rick, for basketball? That's basketball. Oh my goodness. From basketball, he moved to, after a couple years in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors, he moved to a corporate career at DuPont, packaging graphics company, where he held several positions in sales and marketing, and the guy was just a champion, won all kind of awards every year. And you know, we've got a little write-up on that we've sent out as well. But also mentoring, his job moved him to Evanston. So he actually moved to, I want to say Gurnee, and he was looking for a diverse community. And the diverse community was looking for him too, because he sure came. And what did he do when he got here? Well, he only worked for DuPont for 31 years. And he just retired in January. But he had a 36-year corporate history. I'm like, how can this guy get any better? How can he get any better? Well, he had a kid. Well, before he had a kid, he met a wonderful woman in New York named Holly. And they've been married for 35 years. So just another rich part of this story. Moved to Evanston, has been living at 420 Callan for 30-something years. And I was just kind of blown away when I found out all of this, because I was looking for somebody, who can we honor this year, and who fits the bill, that somebody you want to promote in this community and who's done so much for the community. I haven't even gotten to the community yet, but I'll get there in a second. Married to Holly for 35 years, had a son, Ryan, who's 32, now lives in Atlanta, and a great kid. I used to watch him play. I watched his career a little bit at the high school, him playing basketball. He joined FAM 28 plus years ago, and if you don't know what FAM is around here, it's a Fellowship of African American Men, and it was designed early, along with our first black police chief, Bill Logan, and a few others, Gene Bell, to actually help with middle school athletics. Middle school athletics didn't have enough money, so kids weren't able to play basketball, so they started a league. And it was ran mainly out of Fleetwood and some of the other school gyms within District 65. So this guy was on the executive committee for them for some years. He served as president of the board. Not only that, he's a Hall of Famer with FAM. He has served on the Evanston Recreation Board for 8 years, and he was the president from 1996 to 97. And he continues to mentor to this day as a part of Kurt's Cafe North. So he's been a part of that. One of the things I loved about his little bio, he wrote, and I just wanted to make a note, he wanted to find opportunities in his retirement. His retirement plan is to find opportunities to serve our youth. Thought that was fantastic, specifically young African American men. Of course, he wants to travel and continue to explore. His wife Holly works for United Airlines, so he does fly free. I'm a little jealous of that. Better his golf game. He's teaching me, we're going to golf a little bit in the future and connect with friends and family. So, with that said, I just want to add that Holly started the FAM cheerleader program 16 years ago. So not only did he do what he did, and if you see a great man, 9 times out of 10, well 10 times out of 10 is probably even a greater better woman behind him. So, and that's what he has in Holly. So I just salute them today, salute Rick Marsh for just being a great constituent in the Ridgeville district. And we honor you for your dedication, your volunteerism, and your mentoring of our youth. Thank you so much. We've got a plaque from Ridgeville. And it simply says, presented to Rick Marsh in appreciation and recognition of your many years of dedicated and outstanding service to the community through volunteerism and mentoring. And it lists all that you've done in your volunteerism from Fellowship of African American Males all the way down to Kurt's Cafe as a mentor. In honor of Black History Month, presented by the Ridgeville Park District Board and the Ridgeville Park District, and Brian is our Executive Director. Thank you so much. I got a little something for
This is really much appreciated.
Holly, can you come up with him? Don't get to just take pictures. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
If I could just make a couple of comments. You know, first of all, come on, I'm really, really humbled. I really appreciate, the honor and being recognized, like this. I've been living in this community. We've been living in our house for 31 years, right at 420 Callan Avenue. I used to play basketball right out here, and when I was transferred here, we didn't know anything about this area. We didn't know anything about Evanston. But I had some friends that lived in Evanston, and we were looking for a diverse community to raise our child. And being a Pisces, we like the lake as well. So this kind of worked out, and we came here, and with DuPont, in a corporate career, oftentimes they like to move you different places. And we clearly told them up front that we weren't moving. We found our community, and we were staying here, and the FAM organization is something that is just really, really special in this community. And kids really benefit from it. They get a lot from it, the mentoring, being a part of it. And it really means a lot to the kids. It meant a lot to me. I always talk about how much, people say, yeah, man, you really gave a lot, to the fam and to the community. But I'm here to tell you, I got much more out of it than I gave. I got kids now that's in their 40s that still calling me coach. That kind of stuff means a lot.
Don't cry.
As I get old, I got more emotional. These kind of things that have real meaning in life. And this really does. So, with that, I just want to thank you all and appreciate the honor. This will go for my walk, no doubt.
Thanks for joining us.
Could we get one shot of you, Rick, with our entire board here?
That'd be great.
That'd be outstanding.
Because
How about that?
for us, we get together once a month, so this will be the
Yeah, so maybe we'll you come over here and then maybe over here to like.
Okay. This is a map of our district.
Yes. So thank you.
Don't you want to get in?
Yeah.
Down a little bit further, so that everybody can.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, and then we want
What
to
against
do it
here?
over here.
Okay. All right.
Because the light is weird in this space.
Where's
Come on over. Brian's camera shot.
I got a picture of him.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right.
And you go into it too. Now come back.
Yeah.
Mark, come on. Maybe Brian. Okay, go back. No, don't wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like,
Oops.
One more is Brian.
All right, you guys, I'm sorry. Thanks for indulging me. I'm sorry for taking so long.
Very worthwhile.
Folks, we'd like to take a few minutes every month for citizen comments and feedback. Would anyone,
No, she wants the board, no.
would anyone have anything they would like to discuss this month or bring up for comment? Yes, Debbie.
I really would like to discuss something about our meetings here. I'd like to take issue with something about our meetings. I'd like to take issue with the citizen comment part of our meetings. Okay? As of now, the rule is that citizen comments are supposed, thank you for coming. Thank you. Are supposed to be kept, as I understand it, right, at the beginning of the meeting and made by citizens and residents. And there have been many times, I think, when a time limit's been arbitrarily set in the past. Residents of Ridgeville have been told to sit down, be quiet, it's not your turn to talk, comments are over, etc. Last month at the Park District meeting, the secretary, Anna, not Rita, Anna Christina, was allowed to interrupt in the middle of the meeting with comments that really had nothing to do with her, shall we say, position. It certainly wasn't under a report that she was giving as the employee of the district. And she is not a resident of the district, but a paid employee, paid for by, I might add, the residents of Ridgeville, who would not have been allowed to give their comments on the matter at that time, I'm pretty sure. At the same meeting, a commissioner also questioned a budget item, which has been in the budget the previous years. He's been on the board, but he never questioned it. As a matter of fact, the grueling line-by-line budget meeting, which I remember when I was a board member, no commissioner ever saw need to question it. And that's been there maybe 20, 30 years, this ban business. The board is talking about meetings for bigger and better issues in the future, which is great. But what about paying attention to what goes on in a month-to-month meeting? It seems a lot of unnecessary time is wasted on these kinds of discussions. So I would like to, as a citizen, see a board member consider making a motion to change the timing of citizen comments so that we, the residents of Ridgeville, can discuss the issues at hand in a timely manner. Perhaps have citizen comments at the end of the meeting so that we don't have to wait a month and we don't have to sit through some of this stuff and be frustrated. And I'm just asking that perhaps you would think about that and why it's so frustrating for us to wait a month or to sit and listen to people talk and think, we can't say anything but like what went on last month. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have other comments? Very well. If not, we'll move along. Our third point of business this evening, approval of minutes for January 14th, 2016.
I move to accept the draft as written by Rita for last month's board meeting minutes.
Do we have any comments? None said. All in favor?
Aye.
Move along to the bills.
Ready for me to go through?
Yes, please.
AEDP is rather large.